In a small, picturesque village nestled in the rolling hills of an untouched countryside, there stood an old stone cottage with ivy climbing up its walls. This was the home of 78-year-old Samuel, a man whose life had been a tapestry of experiences, struggles, and triumphs that spanned generations. Samuel was a man of few words, but his eyes told stories that had shaped the fabric of his soul. He had lived through wars, seen the rise and fall of empires, and experienced the profound changes that had transformed the world. Samuel was born in the early 20th century, during a time when life was simple but challenging. The village he grew up in was a close-knit community where everyone knew each other and neighbors were like family. The world outside was vast and mysterious, but within the village, life moved at a steady, predictable pace. As a child, Samuel spent his days helping his father in the fields, tending to crops, and learning the ways of the land. His mother, a kind and nurturing woman, taught him the values of hard work, honesty, and respect for others. As Samuel grew older, the world around him began to change. The peaceful village life was disrupted by the rumblings of a distant war. The Great War, as it was called, cast a shadow over the land. Samuel, like many young men of his time, felt a sense of duty to protect his homeland. He enlisted in the army and was sent to the front lines, where he witnessed the horrors of war firsthand. The trenches were filled with mud, fear, and the cries of the wounded. But amidst the chaos, Samuel found camaraderie and a sense of purpose. The war left an indelible mark on Samuel. He lost many friends, and the experience hardened him in ways he had never imagined. But it also taught him the value of peace and the importance of cherishing every moment of life. When the war finally ended, Samuel returned to his village, a changed man. The village had also changed. Many of the young men had not returned, and the community was grieving. But life had to go on, and Samuel found solace in the simple pleasures of life, working the land, spending time with his family, and watching the seasons change. The years following the war were a time of rebuilding. Samuel married his childhood sweetheart, Eliza, and together they built a life filled with love and laughter. They had 3 children, and Samuel took great pride in passing down the skills and knowledge he had learned from his father. The world was changing rapidly, with new technologies and ideas shaping the future, but Samuel remained rooted in the traditions of the past. As the years went by, Samuel witnessed the rise of new challenges. The Second World War erupted, and once again, the world was thrown into turmoil. This time, Samuel was too old to fight, but he watched as his own sons went off to war, just as he had done years before. The pain of seeing his children go off to battle was almost unbearable, but Samuel remained strong for his family. He knew that the values he had instilled in his children would guide them through the darkest of times. After the war, the world entered a period of rapid change. The old ways of life were being replaced by new ideas, technologies, and social norms. Samuel watched as his village transformed from a rural farming community to a more modernized town. The younger generation embraced the changes with enthusiasm, but Samuel felt a sense of loss for the simpler times of his youth. One of the most profound changes Samuel witnessed was the decline of the village community. The close-knit bonds that had once defined the village began to fray as people moved away in search of better opportunities. The village was no longer the center of life, and Samuel struggled to adapt to this new reality. But amidst the change, he found comfort in his family, who remained by his side. His children had grown into adults, each carving out their own paths in life, but they never forgot the lessons their father had taught them. As Samuel entered his twilight years, he became a wellspring of wisdom and knowledge for the younger generation. The village elders often sought his counsel, and his grandchildren would sit by his side, listening to his stories of the past. Samuel believed in the importance of passing down the lessons of life, and he took every opportunity to share his experiences with others. One of Samuel's most cherished traditions was the annual family gathering at the old stone cottage. Each summer, his children, grandchildren, and even great-grandchildren would come from far and wide to spend time together. These gatherings were filled with laughter, storytelling, and the sharing of old family recipes. Samuel would sit in his favorite chair by the fireplace, watching his family with pride and contentment. He knew that the love and values he had instilled in his family would continue to guide them long after he was gone. As the years passed, Samuel's health began to decline. He knew that his time on earth was coming to an end, but he faced the inevitable with grace and acceptance. He had lived a long and fulfilling life, and he was ready to embark on his final journey. In his last days, Samuel found peace in the memories of a life well lived. He reflected on the challenges he had faced, the people he had loved, and the lessons he had learned. He knew that his legacy would live on in the hearts of his family and the stories they would tell. Surrounded by his loved ones, Samuel passed away peacefully in his sleep, leaving behind a legacy of wisdom, love, and resilience. His funeral was a celebration of his life, filled with stories, laughter, and tears. The village came together to honor the man who had been a pillar of the community for so many years. Years after Samuel's passing, his family continued to gather at the old stone cottage. The traditions he had started lived on, and his stories were passed down to each new generation. The village, though changed, still held the echoes of Samuel's life. The fields he had worked, the paths he had walked, and the memories he had created were all part of the fabric of the community. Samuel's story is a reminder of the enduring power of love, resilience, and the importance of cherishing the moments that make up a life. In a world that is constantly changing, the lessons of the past remain as relevant as ever. Samuel's journey through time is an inspiration to all who hear it, a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the lasting impact of a life lived with purpose and integrity.